coming here and being completely alone, I felt like I need to find someone or something to attach myself to quickly, because to an extent I couldn't even stand being alone because I didn't even know myself. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. So then when that happened, now I got friends, I started a relationship, and I felt like I belonged, right?
Rather be a lover than a fighter, 'cause all my life I've been fighting. Never felt a feeling of comfort. Oh, all this time I've been hiding, and I never had someone to call my own. No, I'm so used to sharing. Love only left me alone, but I'm at one with the silence. I found peace in your violence. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been silent for too long. I've been quiet for too long. I've been quiet for too long.
Hi everyone, this is your Therapeutic Talk show. Welcome back. If you're new, please feel free to like, subscribe, share us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, anywhere you'll probably find us. So today, I'm super excited. We have a wonderful girl showing up again. Some of you might have seen her in our other live room before, and her name is Panashe. Hi Panashe.
Hi Cynthia, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you so much.
It is your color. Yes.
Thank you.
So for those who probably didn't get a chance to watch the live, please introduce yourself. Let us catch up. Let us know who you are. Apart from being a fun ting.
Okay, so my name, as you said, is Panashe Chapasuka. I am a student at Africa University, and I am heading for my second year studying psychology. Yeah. I guess I would say I'm a loud person, very outspoken.
Most occasions.
Yeah. Very outspoken. But I also do take time to, calm down and come back to earth and think about myself, and then, pick back up and go speaking 24/7.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, you're all about self-growth. For those who don't know you, and you've touched upon it before in the live. So, I guess I want to know, what does self-growth mean to you?
Okay, so self-growth for me, I think, just from contextual meaning, from the first part is, it's growing, We're talking about self-growth being exponential. We're talking about starting from one level and going to the next, right?
Right.
So for me, self-growth is a journey of introspection. It's a journey inward. You want to understand yourself and grow within yourself, for yourself.
So kind of like having a TED Talk, but just you.
Exactly.
And your teddy bears.
Exactly. Or sometimes it's you and you.
I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about introspection, interestingly enough.
That's true.
We always tend to think that knowing about ourselves, and when we say growing ourselves, we're talking about, learning a new hobby, learning a new skill, being that busy person, and being
true.
proactive and getting the bag. But there's also the emotional part, there's also the mental part. There's just checking in with yourself and seeing, okay, so have I grown in this department? Have I not grown in this department? What am I like when I'm mad? What am I like when I'm happy? So that's really powerful. So what do you think is an important reason for somebody to have to undertake this journey of self-growth?
Okay, so as I was saying, right, self-growth is getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And we are living in a big world. And there's a lot of things that we can face, a lot of social factors that can affect our life day to day. So with self-growth, when you develop an understanding of yourself, you learn to handle better any situation that you are put when you understand how you act, when you understand your reactions to any given situation, you know your triggers that set off a certain reaction and things like that, then you begin to perform better, let me say. You perform better in your own life because now you have control over yourself in any situation. I feel like it's best to have control over the things we can control than trying to control what we cannot. And seeing as I cannot control my environment, I cannot control the people around me, how they act, or whatever opportunities come my way, being able to control myself, that's what gets me going on and on in life and making the best of whatever I get.
I like what you're touching on because it makes me think of the whole humanistic psychology theory approach where we say you want people to be able to understand that you do have a role to play in your own life. We're not saying there are the circumstances that you can always control, but you can control how you react to that.
Yeah,
you can control how you look at something. You can control how you think about something. And that's actually very powerful.
Yeah, that's true.
So was there any moment in your life that made you realize that, oh, hey, I think I need to do this whole self-growth journey thing?
Yeah, that there was a moment actually. But before I touch on that, I feel like we don't realize that we need to change or grow unless you're put in a certain situation.
That is absolutely true. I did not realize I need to change my studying patterns until it was time to write exams.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So for me, I never went to a boarding school.
Same.
All my life I've been going to day schools. So you're leaving home at 6, you're back home by 1 or 4 or 5, right? Depending on the day. And having to always go home and knowing that at home there's everything I need. My parents are providing every need for my survival, everything I want. If I ask, I get it. So coming to university for me was, let me say, my first boarding experience, if I can say that.
Yeah.
My first time being away from home. Because even as when I was in my primary and high school life, yes, I did have friends, but I was more antisocial. So I was home 24/7. If I am not at school, I am at home. So I never got that chance to actually be away from home. If I'm away from home, I'm at my grandmother's place. That was it. So I never got that chance to be away from home. Then coming here, just being thrown instantly. They come, my parents, they drop me off, and they're gone.
In Anoxia?
And they'll leave you.
Oh, they
don't take
drop
back.
you like luggage, yeah? They just come, they come in, they're like, which block are you supposed to go check your email? And then they take your bags, and then they're like, and then they're like, okay, bye.
That's one less burden to focus on at home.
Yeah, and then they don't call you, they don't bother to check. And then you're like, okay.
You're like, what was this good for? I feel like, it was more for you than for me, but it's
right?
okay. It's
especially
okay.
when they start posting the vacation pictures.
And you're like, wow, okay.
Like, what happened to I don't have money?
Exactly.
How you in Cape
Town?
Town?
All suffering.
Right?
But clearly not. So yeah, like being left to your own devices, just like that. And now you don't even know where to turn, because for me, I'm from Bulawayo, right?
Same! Yay!
That's good. So there's not a lot of people, like our people from Bulawayo here.
But we're not a lot.
Exactly.
We're like a really, really small population, and it takes time for us to find each other.
Exactly. So, till date, or let me just say, there's no one I have seen here who I know.
Yeah.
So I was truly alone. Like maybe you have like friends from Harare or even the other countries, and they came and they already know someone.
Yeah.
Right? So then I came here and I completely didn't know.
And you're starting from scratch,
anyone. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the place. I still at that point didn't even know that I didn't know myself. Right? So being left completely alone in a different environment, that pushed me to wanting to find something, to instantly attach myself to someone or to instantly want to belong, right? Because now you don't have that security you had at home where you know whoever is sitting next to you, but here you don't, and you're alone. And when you haven't gotten that opportunity to be alone, yes, I was antisocial, I was home always, but it didn't mean I was by myself.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Kids Next Door can't talk to you.
Exactly.
It's a cool cartoon, but
exactly. So now coming here and being completely alone, I felt like I need to find someone or something to attach myself to quickly, because to an extent I couldn't even stand being alone because I didn't even know myself. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. I didn't even know that I could talk to myself in a conversational way, right? So then when that happened, now I got friends, I started a relationship, and I felt like I belonged, right? Where last semester I you would never find Panashe alone. You would never find Panashe alone. If I am going somewhere, I am going with someone. But then the problem that came with attaching myself to these people was that, and not knowing myself, is that I didn't have an identity or definition in what I wanted to do. If they said, let's do this, I would go with it, because if I don't go with them, I lose them.
Yeah.
Right? Where I am conforming to everything that they say because I don't know what happens if I don't say yes.
And that's a sad thing, you know. That's an insecure attachment to have with somebody, because then you realize in itself you feel like you're secure, but you're not secure because you understand that it's conditional.
That's true.
If I don't do this, that's the end of it.
That's true.
And there's always this fear that, like, oh my God, so if they go, what do I have next?
Exactly.
What do I have left? Who am I? What are people gonna say about me now? You know? So I definitely get that. That makes sense. That happens a lot. And your first year you go through the most. You go through the most mentally, I believe, more than physically and everything else. I think for everyone it's the mental adjustment to that life that's hard. Because even if you were somebody who's been away from home, you've never been away from home and put in a situation where there's other people who are in the same scenarios. You're coming from different situations, and everybody deals with things in different ways.
That's true.
And like you said, if you don't know yourself, everything looks great.
Everything looks great because I don't even know if I like this.
Yeah, but
so let's do it. I'll find out along the way.
Yeah,
right. There's
just
so much.
Go with the flow.
Exactly. There's this thing of throw caution to the wind that you have, where to an extent you forget to respect yourself. True. You forget to ask yourself, do I even want to do this?
True.
You're just like, okay, we're getting in. Let's go. We're going somewhere. Let's go. I'm not even trying to hesitate or anything like that. But then, when I then came to the conclusion that no, I need to really focus on myself, was when I got the chance to truly be alone. Right? It wasn't a situation I put myself in. Right? My relationship had ended on bad terms.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly. Oh, gosh.
And even if it wasn't for the, let me say, the romantic part of it, I feel like it was one of those things where you just didn't want to be alone. Right?
Yeah.
Where you're telling yourself that, no, I want to be here with this person. At least I know that if I don't have anything to do, I'm calling someone.
Yeah.
Right? Where at that point you probably don't even know what you're supposed to look for in a relationship. Or you know this person to tell them these things. Like, who am I supposed to tell all the stupid things that I want to say if you want to know how to hear, right? And then that happened. Then we had exam season and all that. And then people start going home.
Oh, yeah.
So my friends all left. I don't have a significant other anymore. My friends are gone.
And then the call you back to being that flower you had.
Exactly. And I can't rush home because, I'm waiting for that day where, like, everyone is going to get in the bus and then we all go together.
Guys, people play with that destination, guys.
Yo, Ukachana, and with all your luggage, right?
Lord.
You were just like, okay, I have to wait for, a day where it's convenient. So, knowing the bus is coming to campus and I can take my things from my room into the bus and go with people, that's okay. Of which the day we got into the bus going, that was the first time I really ever saw anyone else.
Yeah, and that's when you meet people and
you're like, oh, really? I didn't know that.
I can relate to that one because I remember in my freshman year, I didn't know a lot of people who came from Plight. And I didn't know a lot of people who spoke Ndebele. So I didn't speak Ndebele. I just went to default Shona. And then somebody was like to me, I don't know what happened. Somebody was like to me, oh, dude, you're from Blues. Let me put you in this group where we're all, people from Blau. And I was like counting. I was like, oh, wow, are all these people? And I found most of them were in my stream.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, God. No. But it was pretty cool. That meant the next time we were coming to school, we all got in the same bus. And like you said, you get to learn about each other, and it helps because you now have a familiar face.
Mm-hmm.
When you miss home, you can just go down to Panashe's room and be like, hey, Jake,
cool,
do you remember about, let's just talk about David. I feel like saying, Kota.
Because you truly forget when we're here. Because my two closest friends, and even the branches outside, Shona and people from other countries,
and you can't do that whole same break, with what
I can't talk to anyone in Ndebele, because now if I stream off in Ndebele when we're sitting together, I'm talking to myself.
Exactly, and you're shouting or you're arguing.
And now they're just looking at me and I'm like, oh, okay, wait, no, let me speak in your language. So it's, nice to like really find people and ground yourself.
Yeah, grounding is important. I like that. Grounding yourself is very, very key in uni.
Like you need to.
Yeah.
So
now that we've done that, how's the journey now?
The journey, I won't even lie to you. It has been ups and downs, but the retribution is amazing.
Oh, I like that word, retribution.
It is amazing because after this happened, like now I'm truly alone. I don't even know where to begin. I remember I think it was the night before I left, I sat myself down and I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? Because even if I was to go home, I was going to go home and continue being confused. Not that I'm just confused around people I really know, right? It kind of makes it better, but there's no difference.
There's no difference because they don't let you grow.
Exactly.
Because they all now know you. They will automatically adjust for you.
Exactly.
Unlike when you're here. Nobody really knows you like that.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't gonna be like, oh no, Panashe, I meant to say.
No.
It forces you to really, really be intentional
about
what you say, how you do things, how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm. So then I took the time, I think it was just before the end of last semester, I really took the time to think and to be like, tell me what's wrong. This is something we don't do. Like when we think talking to yourself, mental growth, self-care, we're like, nah, this is for white people. We're black people, we're tough. We don't we don't do this. But to sit down and really be there, like, what is going on? Right? Because now, like, I don't even know what's next. I know I'm going home, but I don't even know what I'm going to do for the month. Right? I just know the first thing I'm going to do is sleep. Yes, that's definite.
Oh,
but what comes after sleep? You were like, what comes after sleep? Right?
True.
Even if it's not knowing what comes next or further down the line, it's asking myself, what am I going to do the moment I stand up from here? Right? Okay, no, maybe not what am I going to do, but you start asking yourself, who am I actually? Right? I know my name, but that's it.
I know what it means.
I know what it means. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Nobody can know what they were thinking when they gave me that name.
Exactly. So I then sat myself down. And I remember it was December 1st, 2 days before I left for home. And I said, I don't like this. Being alone and being alone. Right? Like you can be by yourself and be comfortable and be in your own presence, you're okay. But being in your own presence and being uncomfortable, you are not happy with yourself. You don't even want to look at yourself. that for me was a big turning point. Where I was like, if I can't be comfortable with myself, who do I want to be comfortable with? Right?
Yeah.
So then I sat myself down and I was like, I can do better than this. And one thing I always tell myself is, I am my parents' daughter. I don't think they would be proud knowing that this is what I'm doing. As a child, your parents live through you.
That's true.
Right? You are the result. What people see when they look at you is how they, I don't know, think of your parents. And you don't want to create a bad image of them. So indirectly, they were a big part in my development. Like, of course, I wouldn't talk to them. I've never really been the biggest let's talk person. What would you say?
About what?
What would you
that
say?
team is hard to start such things. You know, you'd be like,
You don't even know
I got a boyfriend. And like, what? When's it?
I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just, you know what? But they played a big part. Because I'm like, I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Chapasuka would be happy knowing that their child is rolling on the ground, choking on tears because of a guy.
Right.
And I'm like, but I said, no, man, my mom is too pretty for this. My mom is too beautiful to have a daughter who rolls in the dust.
True.
So I stood up, metaphorically, I dusted myself. And I told myself, no, we're not doing this anymore.
That's not it.
That's not it. 0 out of 100. You failed at being yourself. Right? Because you're trying so hard to live for other people that you don't even know what you want. I used to be so indecisive. If someone asks me something, Panashe, what do you want? I don't know. Is this nice? Maybe, maybe not. There was no conclusive decision ever.
And that's the thing. It always starts with the small things, yeah? For example, what do you want to eat?
And you go through
like, I don't know.
I'm like, wow, you're like, and in as much as my journey was good, that question can still be a bit off. It can still be a bit off throwing, but it doesn't take us long to decide anymore. So a win is a win, you know.
But food is big. You gotta understand, food is big.
Exactly.
Food is so diverse. You know, it's not a one-time decision.
It's not. Like, do I want to do this? It has to go with your mood, you know.
True.
With your emotion. Who do I want to be today?
True. And I know we're using food, but you know, even self-growth can be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it really has to go with your mood and how dedicated you are to tackling this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a statement people like to say that, you know, you only change something when you're fed up with it.
Exactly.
You have to get to the point where
Really?
you're so fed up and you're like, no, man.
What is this?
What is this? I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly.
But I like what you said, that the journey hasn't been straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing we persecute ourselves for. Because we think it's supposed to be like, oh, so it's just straight path. Like, oh, I know what I want to do. I know what I'm going to pursue. I know who I'm going to marry. I know who I'm going to whatnot. But it's not like that. You're bound to just have curves and twists and turns and all of that. But it's how you take what you learn from that.
Yeah,
that's where the growth is. That's where like the whole substance is in all of that, actually, more than having the answer.
That's
ironically.
Yeah, so when I went through that, like, I hit rock bottom and I didn't even know. It was during my journey that I realized that, wow, that really was the worst time that anything had ever happened to me, by me.
And the semester was like that, yeah? The semester has a way of weaving you smack in the face and you like, don't know it until you're going home.
And you're like, oh, damn. Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. But then, yeah, so that's when I told myself that, no, man, it's time to grow. If I don't like this, no one is going to fix it for me, right? So then that was December. And I remember telling myself, give yourself time. And I didn't just want to say, okay, I'm giving myself time. These things take time, you know, like, no. I gave myself a date. And I said, by this day, I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to be better than I am right now. Right? So, as I said, that was December 1st. And I told myself, okay, fine. Next year, I'm turning a year older. Maybe I should set the date for my birthday. But that would have been 5 months from December, and it didn't make sense. the dates didn't make sense. So I was like, you know what? 6 months. Because a year is too long to wait. So let's do 6 months and then maybe we'll go. So I gave myself 6 months. And today is the 29th, is it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow actually would mark the end of my 6 months.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Tomorrow would mark the end of my 6 months. When I was thinking about this actually, I was telling myself that God works in mysterious ways.
He does.
Because this session was supposed to happen a long time ago.
But
so many things. Something would come up, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I then thought about it, I'm like, it had to be today, didn't it?
It had to be.
Because now I can actually look at today and self-evaluate and be like, am I the same person I was last time or last semester around this time where it's the end, we're all going home? And I was talking to my friend the other day and I was just so happy because I'm like, no man, this is beautiful.
You've done the full circle.
I have done the full circle. Where this time around last semester, I couldn't even muster up a smile.
I know what you mean.
I couldn't even muster up a smile. I was probably the worst person to be around because now I was just depressed and I was depressing everyone. Something we fail to realize is when we are cut so deep that we are hurt, we tend to bleed on other people.
That's true.
Right? Now, I'm going through the most. So how dare you try to smile in my face? Like, no, be sad with me.
That your life's going well.
Be sad with me, please. So now I was just the worst person to be around. And I feel like my friends helped themselves in the door.
They're just like, nope, not dealing with this.
They helped themselves and went home because I really wasn't there, or I wasn't
as present
anymore
and mindful.
Yeah, and one of the people I think that was really elemental in this whole thing is a friend of mine. I refer to him as my brother actually because we've been together since day one of the semester. Well, not day one of the semester. There's those people you believe are God sent.
True.
I had applied to A, and I don't know what I had done, but I had applied wrong. So I think it had been 2 weeks. I'm waiting for my answer, and I'm telling myself, no, it's going to come. And then he comes out of nowhere and we talk, and then turns out he's also going to AU. And I'm like, okay, I don't know you, but like, what's going on here? And then he's like, he applied and then he got his answer 2 days later. I'm like, are you lying? Are you lying?
Insert panic button?
I'm like, wait, what? And then he says, how did you apply? So he walks me through the whole thing. I apply, I get my answer 3 days later. I've been accepted. And then since day one, since then, we've always been helping each other. And he was really there for me in this time where I was really the worst possible version of myself. And he's like, Panashe, I'm not going to hug you or tell you that it's okay. I'm not going to tell you it's okay to cry, because who are you crying over? It's not even helping you. No tears are going to do anything. Yes, there comes a time where you really have to cry and let it go. But sometimes I feel like just let it be one big thing.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, I'm done. Because crying day after day after day, it gets annoying.
I like how you're illustrating that, your mental health can influence how your self-growth journey goes.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. Because like you're saying, in the beginning, I guess you could say you're in your mourning phase. Yeah. Your grieving stage.
Yes.
And it's really, really hard when you're grieving to be self-aware.
That's true.
And to even practice emotional sensitivity to the people around you, to realize that, oh, dude, life still goes on.
Life still goes on.
You still need to be present.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That, mental health, your mind state as well, can affect how you grow. And you need to be really, really sympathetic to yourself sometimes. To understand that where your mental health is will affect the type of output you're going to bring out in your self-growth. You can't just be sitting there and being like, why can't you do better? You're not in your season to be doing better.
Exactly.
You're in your season to be letting it go and releasing. And I love that.
That's...
Side note, do you like cake? Yeah, we're getting cake tomorrow. We're celebrating that. Exactly. We're getting cake tomorrow. I love cake.
Exactly.
I love cake. We're getting cake tomorrow.
Amen.
And I think as a final question, I'll ask you, what's one thing about self-growth that you wish people knew that they don't know?
It's a painful journey.
Oh, yes.
It is extremely painful because, like I said in the beginning, it's self-introspection. You are putting yourself down on paper and you are marking everything that you don't like about yourself. We usually tell ourselves that, okay, maybe I can say, no, I'm well spoken. And then I only look at that. And then I focus on that. I'm like, no, this is what I've got going for me. We don't focus on the bad things. Right?
That's like, people are afraid of that part of things.
Exactly. Now I'm only trying to maximize on the good things about myself. That the bad things are still, whether I look at them or I don't do anything about them, they're still there. Right? And you learn to, when you go through this journey, it's telling yourself that I am wrong.
This has actually been really, really insightful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for everybody who's gonna get a chance to watch or is watching, I hope that they gain as much insight into themselves as you have. I hope your story can be a testament to what that process looks like.
So too.
But above everything, like, I commend you for even starting it. And I commend you for fulfilling your 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's tomorrow, and was definitely getting cake though.
Definitely.
But I want to congratulate you for that, and I really, really love that for you. I love that you're smiling.
I love it too.
Girl.
Exactly. Like, I looked at myself
Like,
today and I was like, I was like, no man, who is this? You know, and I took a picture and I sent it to my best friend.
Of course.
And she's like, Panashe, you send me pictures every day. But I don't know why, but today I am screaming.
Yeah.
She sent a voice note screaming.
Yeah.
And she's like, what have you done? And I was like, I don't know. But God did. God did. And just one other thing about the journey. Like I said, it's painful and whatnot, but it's addictive. Because once you put yourself into growth and you're getting better and, you know, retribution, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, from where I was to where I am, it only means I can go further than this, right? Like I can go far, and you get so addicted to always doing something, to always moving somewhere.
It becomes a habit.
It becomes a habit, exactly.
I think we should do a series. I chose on it to keeping up with Panashe.
Okay, please.
Self-journey.
I will definitely be there. I love
because I think we need a longer time period
That's
to actually get into it. But
Mhm.
thank you
No,
so
thank you.
much. Thank you for being a motivating factor for whoever's
Mhm.
gonna see this. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for being brave to take that journey.
Yeah.
Because it may have started for you, but I really do think that it's gonna start showing up as a starting point for everybody
else. Yeah.
For those of you who are watching, you heard it yourself. I mean, you can see the Lord's work, please.
The Lord's work, indeed.
But anywho, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know what to do: like, subscribe, follow us, stalkers, do the things. But as for that, I'm your host with the most. Thank you so much. This has been Therapeutic Talk.